Thank you for signing up on the DrRic Hiking Excursion 2020. The goal for 2020, August 28th, and that's plus or minus 3 days to take into account possible rain, inclement weather, or thunderstorms. The goal is Colorado, Gray's Peak, and Torrey's Peak. And I'll see if I can put a link down below for a map. You'd have to fly into Denver, get an Airbnb or a local. I'm going to try to get a campsite, but I think it's first come first serve. The thing you have to know is that to get to the trailhead of Gray's, and then you transfer over to Torrey's once you see that saddle up top, you really have to have a four-wheel drive. So if you're going to rent a vehicle, it has to be four-wheel drive. There are potholes along the way from the highway to the trailhead, and then there's a limited amount of parking spaces at the trailhead. Most people, if they get there after 6 a.m., have to park on the pothole-riddled road, and that starts to accumulate. So you can actually, if you get there late, you can actually start your hike 2 to 3 miles down from the trailhead and adds on 3 miles. You don't want to do that. So as we get closer, I will discuss about accommodations. But here's the training schedule. So write this down, and I'll put it up. I'll post it on a PDF. It is now January, middle of January. What I want you guys to do is to be able to tolerate 3,600 feet at high altitude. So the trailhead starts at about 11,500, give or take a couple hundred. And then the summit is at 14,200 plus. So unfortunately I made it to 14,004 feet last time, and I can't live that down, but I didn't train for it. This time the training is going to be intense. So understanding that it's difficult in Chicago to get elevation, the idea would be train on your own and then come out once a month to the best place I think you can get to in this area, which is Swallow Cliff Stairs, because it's formulated like a track. You obviously can't get to 3,600 feet, but there's 125 last time I counted on the east side of the steps. Then you go down on the west side, then you go back up and around, and then there's also, it's open all year round. So my suggestion is this, and I'm going to break it down into 7 months. I'm doing this video January 12th. So in 7 months, once a month meetings, you have to be able to pass this. By February, you have to be able to take 10 laps at a leisurely pace. 10 laps, that's 125 up, and then the back, west and down, and then 125 up. 10 laps, leisurely pace. That's for February. Let's just call it February 12th. So you start training now wherever you are so you can do that. March 12th, you should be able to do 20 laps, leisurely pace. So we'll meet after you guys train, we'll meet and we'll do the 20 laps. If you can't do 20 laps, you better start training. By April 12th, you should be able to do 30 laps. Up, down, up, down, up, down, up, 30 laps. Your pace. By May, you should be able to do 30 laps, quick pace. And I'll determine how fast the pace is going to be. And then by June, 30 laps, easy pace, 10 pounds in your backpack. You gotta start using sticks and backpacks by then. July, 30 laps, 20 pounds, sticks, backpack, your leisurely pace. August, before, that's again, it's right before, August 28th is when I want to be on top of the mountain. Somewhere in August, we have to be able to tolerate 30 laps, 20 pounds in your backpack with sticks at a decent pace. And again, I'm going to set the pace depending on how I see the group. But that's my suggestion. Here's the other caveat. The other caveat is that you're going to have a buddy. We can't be all in one group. It's too crowded. In August especially, right before school, there's going to be a bunch of people. When I went there August, it was crowded. So there's certain parts of the trail that it's too big to lead one group. So my suggestion is I'm going to try to bullet to the top of the summit, Gray's Peak, and then across the saddle to Torrey's Peak on the other side. And it's a ridge, so it's going to be kind of 1,500 feet on both sides, and just walk on the ridge. It's not that narrow. I see people going up and down when I was up there, but my group is going to be quick. I'm going to have Pat, who's been with me several times, and her husband Phil, to come up and be sweepers. They'll take a smaller group, slower group, and tag along at a slower pace, so it's leisurely and hopefully get to summit. But no, there's no pressure to get to summit. You're going to want to, but even if you don't get to the summit, just as long as you travel from trailhead to the highest peak. So if we all meet and take off from the trailhead parking lot at 6 a.m., you should be able to get up to peak or summit by 10, given some breaks and discussions, maybe a little bit of yoga stretch. Worst case scenario, 11:30. If we start late or happen to have a difficult parking issue, 12 at the most, and then we head down. I'm hoping to be on the 28th of August, and that'll be a Friday. The problem is it's hard to predict storms, and usually in that area, from what I've seen, there will be storm clouds and sometimes lightning and rain that roll in at 3 o'clock. So we have to try to be off the mountain by 12 to 1, and then you can take your time, and then we can celebrate down at the base camp. So I will determine base camp if we're going to be picking a different place to all huddle together or stay. There are a couple of Airbnbs that are down the street that are very nice, and they're located in ski resorts, but the ski resorts in August are dead, so you can get a pretty decent price. So that is the plan. I'll put it out in a PDF. Please download it and start your training. If you already can tolerate running a marathon, don't be fooled. If you can already tolerate high intensity interval training and or powerlifting, don't be fooled. I think that what's going to challenge everybody is sucking in a limited amount of air, and there's going to be tachycardia, shortness of breath, difficulty with gasping. You have to get used to that. There's no way to train for altitude in Chicago, but I think that even if you are well trained, you can still run the risk. I'll have some Diamox prescriptions for everybody if you can tolerate the P side effects from that thing. I'll put a video on my last Diamox lecture. But so even if you're well trained, it doesn't guarantee anything. However, train the best that you can, and I think that most runners will be able to tolerate at least getting close to peak. So hopefully this works out. If you have any questions, put them down below. If you're apprehensive, you don't have to. You can sign up and just train with us at Swallow Cliff. You don't even have to go to Colorado. It's just a matter of having a summit planned so you can stay on task and have a sustainable activity. So hopefully this gives you something to shoot for. We're gonna try to make 2020 very exciting and worthwhile, and maybe the beginning of a healthy lifestyle change. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you're not a subscriber, or pass this on to anybody else that might want to be training with you or us in this spring and summer. Thanks.